One of the most important things you're going to need to learn in terms of managing your group is how to manage your time. So there's just three particular things in terms of time management that I found really helpful that I know will make a big difference for you. The first of these is what I'm going to say is about setting boundaries. Now, I don't like to set limits, and I'm sure you don't like to set limits on yourself either. Setting limits, that's not good. Setting boundaries, that is good. So in other words, setting a boundary of, I take calls from this time to this time. Or setting boundaries of, hey, every Tuesday night or every Friday night is my date night with my spouse. So we don't talk about the business on our date night. If you look at me, I work very hard in my business, and I have no problem with working a lot of hours. I mean, I'm what we call a lot of hours, which most people would call, part-time. Saturday comes around, I've finished some phone calls, I answer some emails, do some things, any writing, whatever, and usually by Saturday afternoon, I clock out, right? And then I go to the batting cage, might be at the car wash, dinner, movie, date, whatever that night. Sunday morning, I might be at church. Sunday afternoon, I'm playing softball. I don't work until Monday. I don't think about it until Monday. I've set a boundary. So I don't limit myself, but I set boundaries. And you'll find this really helpful when you work, really work. And when you don't work, don't work. Because it's really important. We work at home, and that computer is always there. Cell phone, most people live their life on their cell phone, and it's always there. You've got to set aside time where you unplug and set boundaries. And then when you're working, you're much more productive, believe me. If you go 3 weeks without a day off, you're going through the motion and you're busy all the time, but you're not really getting anything done. When you unplug, you have your recreation time, your quality time, your family time. Then when you come back to work, you're really focused and you get stuff done. The other thing is the ever famous 80-20 rule. And this 80-20 rule works in a whole bunch of different contexts. But where it is here is most people spend 80% of their time with the non-productive members of their organization and 20% or even less sometimes with the really productive leaders of their organization. Because your natural inclination is to talk to the whiners and the complainers and the people who are always grabbing at your coattails because they're just chewing on your ear all the time. And you say, well, Mary's a really successful diamond, and Ben is a really successful leader, and Steve is a really successful leader, and you take them for granted. You got to reverse those things around. You want to spend 80% of your time with the productive people who are really doing it, and 20% of your time with all the people that are just asking you questions that they already know the answer to, asking you questions that you're going to need to direct them to a tool or a website or a CD or a brochure for anyway. They're just people who are not taking responsibility for their own business, and they think that they should just go to their sponsorship line for everything. You have to train your people. That you have to, just like when we're talking about prospects, we said, hey, if you're talking to a prospect, if your lip is moving, you should be pointing to a tool. Same thing with you get a call from a team member and they say, well, what time does the event start on Saturday, the major event? Even though you know the answer, the better answer is to say, we'll go to the team site, the schedule is posted there. Teach people how to solve their own problems, and then you don't enable codependent people, but you train independent people. And then here's the third thing that'll really help you in terms of your time management. Think of this as group time versus individual time. And this is going to allow you to really implement that 80-20 percentage that I talked about, which is you look at individual time is for those real strong leaders, the people that it's a very good investment of their time. And then you've got the 4, 5, 6 people who are always asking the same question over and over, still trying to learn the same basic thing which you've gone over 3 or 4 times. Those are the people you channel into group functions. So they get some face time with you, they get some interaction with you, they get to ask questions of you. You don't desert them, you don't throw them away, you don't forget about them, but you channel those people into group time functions, and the real superstars, you funnel them into individual time, the one-on-one counseling type of sessions, mentorship sessions, and that's where you're going to get the most, the maximum results of the time you put into the business.